What's going on, guys? It is your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, and it looked like the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator praised Dillon Gabriel, and it looked like he threw Shedeur under the bus. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Cleveland. Let's get it. Let's go.
For real? Somebody call me Junior too.
When I pulled up, I thought you was Junior. I got put in my place.
Stop right here for me. Go on and fill in. Go on and fill in.
No secret that Shedeur Sanders is in the quarterback battle with Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco. Well, when asked about the young quarterback, it looked like the offensive coordinator refused to answer about Shedeur, but he had a lot of great things to say about Dillon Gabriel. My whole thing about it is give Shedeur a fair shot, bro. Like, he was speaking about Dillon Gabriel during preseason, speaking about Dillon Gabriel working good with the ones and the twos and his poise and his demeanor on the field. I don't care nothing about none of that, bro. Shedeur need to be given the same opportunity, because at this point, why have him? Because it clearly seemed like y'all ain't trying to develop the young man. And if y'all just want to keep him for sales and stuff, just let him go. Let him go somewhere where he's going to play and get the actual experience. And I'm tired of people saying that, you know what I'm saying, we're hurting Shedeur more than we're helping Shedeur whenever we make this type of content. We make this type of content because everybody else scared to talk about it. See, everybody else scared to put the organization, and scared to talk about the organization and hold them accountable for pretty much sabotaging Shedeur, not treating them right. Not me, bro. I'm going to speak on it each and every time because it's not fair. I can see if Shedeur was given the same opportunity as Dillon Gabriel, but unfortunately he has not. And it's just a weird situation. But guys, let's check out what he had to say. Roll the footage.
And prepare and get ready for opponents. A lot of open dialogue on comfort level, on how we're going to protect things, on seeing different things. So when you have a guy with as much experience as he does, there's a lot that you can ask of the quarterback, and he owns that role. And he's still great with the guys, giving them confidence and providing just a calming, presence for all those young guys that are playing for us.
Learn about Al Golden and his scheme, and that I guess it was 1 year he spent on the same staff at Notre Dame.
Yeah, really like Al. What a great dude. Did a great job at Notre Dame. Obviously, I was following it, being my alma mater, so happy for what he did there. But very diverse in his defensive scheme, has answers to try to take away what you do really well, put those guys in positions to have a lot of success. Brought an advanced way to look at defensive football to that group, and obviously had great results. And, I expect him to do the same, in Cincinnati.
To pros, do you have to sort of project even more than if it was somebody going from like one job to another at the same level?
Yeah, I do think like making the jump and projecting what they're going to use and what they're not going to use. And, college offenses can be run a little bit differently than pro offenses. Obviously, the field dimension of the hashes, and some formations are allowed, some aren't. Running court, like there's a lot of elements to the college game that don't always apply. So it's definitely trying to look at what they defended that really applies to how it can translate. What are their core beliefs? What are the things that they hung their hat on, and what could we potentially see, throughout the year? So again, a lot of defense from Al, which, he had answers to a lot of different sets and answers to things that people do well. And, his group is always very well prepared, and expect more of the same in Cincinnati.
The challenge in game planning when he didn't show anything in the summer, and so diverse, he's got a big toolbox. So what's the challenge facing you guys offensively?
Yeah, I think, you try to find a blend of, you always want to do what you feel like your team operates well, and try to hone in on what our offensive identity is, what puts our players in position to have success, while also, being mindful on their scheme and mindful on the different areas to allow your players to go out there and play fast mentally. So for us, it's, we spent time digging through years and digging through film and trying to, piece together what applies, piece together situationally what can apply. And, but again, it's really about our guys operating what we do at a high level, giving them the tools to play fast mentally, and so we can go out there and operate.
So Harold's so involved throughout training camp and in the offense and what you guys are trying to do, just a couple trick plays that he was involved in at times. Just
I don't remember the trick plays. Must have been somewhere else.
How much of a weapon can he be for you guys this season? How much are you looking forward to sort of integrating?
Yeah, Harold has done a nice job for us. Has learned it well, has executed well. He's made plays for us when we've asked him to. He's done a really nice, like there's been a lot on his plate. That position by nature, when you're kind of that move tight end, you're typically asked to line up in a lot of places. So as many variations as he's had to own, is mentally he's done a nice job with it. And then again, like our goal for all of our players is when they get out there that they can really simplify their thoughts, simplify what they need to focus on, which allows them to execute and play fast. And for him, with the volume we've asked him to do, he's found a way to do that. And CJ's done a great job coaching him and getting ready to play. And Dave, as a veteran in that room, has put his arm around him and helped him through some stuff. So really pleased with Harold and, excited to see how it continues to progress.
You have Terry Judy, and we know what he brings, but what gives you confidence the rest of that room, very young guys, that they can step up and play the level you need them to?
Yeah, I mean, I think those guys have different skill sets that we can utilize in different situations. And, Chad and that group have done a great job of really owning the different movements, the different things that we've asked them to do, owning the roles and responsibilities of each guy, which can be different. I look at it as piecing things together to really add up to a sum of a whole. And all of them have had different strengths, throughout training camp. And all of them, especially some of those young guys, like when their numbers were called, whether it was in our practices, joint practices, preseason, they made plays. And we're excited about that group. They're definitely a group that works extremely hard at it to get the details right, to get things accomplished both in the run game and the pass game. So, like I said, Chad and Bravo have done a great job with that group of getting them ready to play. And we do feel like we can, really have a strength in numbers there.
What gives you confidence in Dillon as your backup quarterback? What did you see in him that makes you feel good about this heading into this game?
Yeah, the processing that he's applied to the game. I think when he's had his opportunity in the preseason, we've seen, him operate, really efficiently within the offense. So, look, Dillon has put a lot of work in. He's been thrown in there in different settings with different reps and different opportunities against good competition, played in the preseason. So, continuing to build those opportunities for him are important as the season goes on and continuing to develop him to get him caught up to speed. But there's a poise there with him that does give us confidence in his ability to execute.
Short yardage back?
We do.
Sanders?
We got 3 backs that we feel like can go ahead and get us a yard.
Pass rusher like Hendrickson, you have to account for it's not one person's responsibility, but since he lines up on one side,
Yep.
like how much of a test is this going to be for him going forward?
Yeah, he's a great player. He's led the league in sacks for a reason. Plays with extremely high football IQ, has good rush plans, good movements, can finish, through traffic, can finish around traffic. So, yeah, you're right in saying it takes everyone. It takes the receivers getting open. It takes the ball coming out on time. It takes the guys that are going to help in protection. All of those pieces add up to a successful protection plan. And then, we got to challenge Dewan to own his one-on-one matchups when those are called.
Like, Tommy, what was your relationship like with Isaiah Bond? I just crossed paths with him at Alabama. And
Yep.
what do you like so much about his skill set?
Yeah, IB and I were together 1 year. Really a rewarding year as a coach and as a player for him. But he came to work every day. We had no issues with the work ethic, no issues with him learning it and understanding what his role was. And he made a ton of big plays for us that season. And that was, something that was called upon on him and asked of him and really had a good relationship throughout the year. I think his skill set, obviously the speed's there, but for a speed player has the ability to be variable in his route running and give us some different tools there. So he's come in, learned it, has handled himself the right way, being kind of a late add to the group. And, we'll continue to how we progress with him and excited to see where that can go.
Do you feel like you and Kevin have sort of meshed over the preseason in terms of, the communication flow, all of that stuff that, kind of you need to have on game day between you
it's
and
it's a great point because it was, when you're kind of working hand in hand, all off season goes smooth, all putting it together goes smooth. Game day is a different deal. Right. And so we tested being down, we tested being in the box, what works best for our flow. We felt like, me being up was the best set of tools that we could have for the game day, for the communication, for the vision from the box. That's where I've been most of my career calling it. So to have that same viewpoint to help has been important. But it's been really seamless. I think we see the game through a very similar lens. You know, as much as I can support him on game day, that's part of my job, and making sure that we put our players in the best position.
Kind of sat down at the beginning of the offseason to rebuild this run game. What were some of the points of emphasis? What was really the focus?
Yeah, I think there was a return to the commitment of running the football and finding ways to do it versus tough looks and advantageous looks. I think identifying who we want to be paired with what can we do up front, like what are we good at and who do we want to be, and finding out that mesh, like who we set out to be in February might not be exactly who we are today, but we've identified what we're good at. And I think identifying and then establishing a core set of this is what we can hang our hat on, and then this is what complements off of that is really important. And then you got to rep the hell out of it, and you got to commit time and effort to get to those points. And you know, to be a great running team, all 11 have to buy in. The quarterback has to buy into the mental side of it. The wide receivers have to buy into the physical side of it. And when you can build that amongst the group, then you can really start to run the ball well. And, you know, I feel like we've done, you know, a nice job up to this point of building that. And, again, excited to see where the run game can continue to develop to and add wrinkles to and have some creative ideas rolling.
Just a couple more.
Can Joe run, you know, all the keepers and bootlegs and the different things that I know you're probably going to want to do in this offense?
Yeah, Joe throughout his career has had tremendous success with those things, even going back just a couple of years while he was here. So we have confidence Joe executing the scheme.
NFL game you're going to be calling. What are the emotions and nerves going into this?
Yeah, Kev's calling it, so I just, you know, to make that. But no, I'm pretty calm. You know, like I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about game day and, you know, seeing the plan come to fruition and seeing the work that our guys have put in come to fruition. As a coach, as rewarding as anything as you do is when you get to go and see and coach your guys, work with them all week. Game day comes and see all the work that they've put in and all the time they've put into a game plan come to life. I mean, that's kind of why you do it. Is to put your players in great success, and then you get so much reward from seeing them have that success on the field.